We are 10 years into our healing journey, and we have made significant and substantial progress. My child is doing very, very well, but I am still helping him heal from autism, and there is definitely hope. So Ashton was born in 2012. He was typically developing. He was your regular kid, regular baby. And at 19 months old, he got strep. And he also had an upper respiratory. He had mycoplasma at the same time, which is like a walking pneumonia. And he had a really high fever for a couple of days, a 104 fever. And we lost everything at the end of that week. We had a severe regression, and he lost the ability to look at people. He lost, his auditory system was messed up. He lost all language, and he was really in a lot of discomfort. He was running and screaming, and it was just this nonstop mess that we were in, just immediately following this illness. We actually got some answers when he was 11 years old as to a major part of the puzzle was Ashton actually has a condition that should have been flagged in the newborn screening, but was not. It was missed. He has methylmalonic acidemia, which is an inborn error of metabolism. And the thing with that condition is when you have a really high fever, they have to check the ketones. And if your ketones are high, you're at really big risk of a major metabolic issue, a crisis, regression, and such. We had no idea that he had methylmalonic acidemia. It was Dr. Heather Tillman-Room who did the FRAT test, the test for folate receptor antibodies. He was about 2.5. I would go to 4 neurologists, and 16 doctors with this piece of paper that said we have folate receptor antibodies blocking. And it was either I don't feel comfortable treating that, we're not treating that. There was every excuse in the book. Dr. Gaetanis saw the paper and he said, "Oh, do you want a script?" And this was like life-changing because 16 doctors into this. I don't know how much was lost that in those 2 years. We missed treatment within weeks of being on leucovorin. Ashton went from single words to 3 phrases at a time. So we had a lot of language happening. I don't think that any single one treatment would have done it on its own. I'm going to say that. I don't think that any one single therapy or medical treatment would have done it on its own. It's a puzzle, and you're putting pieces in a jigsaw puzzle, and you're trying to find these, and it's a needle in a haystack. You're looking for all of these ways to help your child. We're treating things still to this day. The combination of leucovorin, levocarnitine, and B12, though, would be the things that stopped that cascade downhill, stabilized, and allowed things to open up. My child is going to be independent when he grows up, and we work on that all the time. We work on that in doing chores. We work on that. He is a kid who got lost. He got separated because he bolted when he was 8. He bolted in Connecticut. He ended up 30 seconds from a major highway. He is lucky to be alive. But what we did after that was we practiced. What do you do when you get lost? We practiced over and over and over again. I took him to big stores like Sam's, and I'm like, you're going to be right here. Okay, I'm going to be close by. Now you're going to pretend you're lost, and I'm going to call you. And it'd be like, oh, hi, Mom, I'm here. He'd hang up on me. Like, okay, now I know what we need to work on. Okay, when you're lost, you say, hey, Mom, I'm next to the, and you're going to read whatever you're next to. And we practiced. When he regressed overnight, questioning myself about not going and getting a second opinion and not going to the emergency room. That's a hard one to live with because it has impacted him, for his whole life. It really has. And I don't know if that would have uncovered that condition, the methylmalonic acidemia. It may have. But it certainly would have gotten him IVs, which is one of the treatments he required in order to keep things stable. But just that, knowing that everything was different at that point after basically a week of illness, and it was a really rough week of illness, and then just realizing that there is no turning back. You have to keep looking. And I have a lot of parents who reach out to me and say, what was it that you did for your kid? Here's the deal. My kid is impacted in different ways than your kid. So what worked for my kid may not work for your kid. It may not. Go with your mom gut because, it's just, what your kid needs and you know where to look. It is a very, very, very tedious process. And I know the one thing I hear a lot of the time is, but I don't have the money. You need to think about later. And I know we all do. Not figuring this out now is going to have profound implications later on. Once we got involved with Berklee School of Music, and I started seeing his amazing talents. He has perfect pitch. He's a kid who, he sort of flash reads the music but doesn't read it while he's playing. It's just like, and then it's there. And if he misses a beat, he knows where to come back in, and he really very much understands music in a way that, on a level that most people don't. And so just seeing his success and his happiness with music has been just such a highlight.
So long, farewell to your commuter rail. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. I said so long, farewell to your commuter rail. Goodbye for now, until we meet again.